Hello and welcome to Pedal of the Month. This month is the first month where I'm reviewing a pedal that isn't mine. One of the many things I do, I play trumpet in a band that is kind of noisy, experimental sludge. And we were looking of ways of getting interesting with the trumpet. Which is one of the main reasons I play in that band. I get to play around with pedals, which I don't do enough with guitar, and I certainly don't do enough with trumpet. Because the other bands I'm in, they just don't want a ring mod on the trumpet when they're playing pop tunes. So I have a Boss Super Shifter PS-5 to have a look. We thought about using some octaves, and I wanted to go low and growly and all the rest, but there's a trombone does that in the band. So I was loaned a Super Shifter with the idea of going high up. So I'm going to try that in the trumpet in a wee while. But in order that I know what's going on with it, I'm going to look at it and basically show you how it works. So it does lots of things. I'll do it in pitch shifter mode first. The basic idea is that it plays around with, your sound and gives you some extra sounds. Now, complicated thing is you've got to tell the pedal what key you're in. Which means that I have to really know what I'm going to be playing. So let's start in B minor. And then you have a balance of direct. So I can put it on and that's unaffected. Or I can put it on and have it all affected. So let's start with on 50. I've put it in B minor or D. So I'll try to stick to that. And the pitch dial is in the middle and we're on pitch shifter, right? So if we go, it creates an absolutely disgusting sound. I don't know why we told it what key it's in. That's obviously the more harmonious version of that setting of the pedal. So it's kind of alien film sounds. Let's try it on a different key and see how that works. And it is, right enough, it is more disgusting in the other keys. So the pitch shifter, I think, is meant to give you a wee off-key warble. If we put a fully wet signal, and then we can go all the way up. So that's some serious non-guitar sounds. So very experimental. Just kind of tinny sounds. So obviously if you turn that up and get like super delays on it and everything, then you could, I don't know, do Sigur Rós or something, or I don't really know. My knowledge of experimental weirdness isn't wonderful. And then if you mix that in with the dry signal, so you've got this pitch line that will decide what the secondary note is, what the wet signal is. So we can go and that sounds like a So my problem with a lot of these things is they sound a bit plasticky. They sound very much affected, so you're not really using it in organic music unless it's like, I don't know, soundscapes and stuff like that. If we click it one notch up, we're only an octave down rather than 2 octaves down. So you kind of hear, you can hear it switching like most octave pedals. It's a bit of a question when I'm in tune, but I'm playing a pitch shifter. So it's maybe a wee bit unfair. I've tried to be quite methodical, so I'm starting at the lowest point in the dial in this pitch shifter, and you can decide you kind of almost get a kind of ring mod thing going on. So you can decide if you're going like, I think it tells you on it, it's like a first, a second, a fifth, a seventh, an octave or 2 octaves in either direction. That's 2 octaves. I really like that. I really like the how it's really kind of interesting noises. Trying to remember to play in D. So you've almost got a kind of like granular synthesis thing going on. So you can definitely come up with weird sounds. One of the more useful things is the, what do they call it, the Harmonist. So a harmony pedal, right? And I'll put it in the middle and show you what it does. And to be different, we'll go to C. I've got more licks I can play in C. So that's the pitch at 12 o'clock. And it does a kind of Thin Lizzy thing, where it sounds like it's doubled and harmonised. I'll try not to play blues scales, it doesn't like them. So if you can hear my guitar, the unamplified guitar is the dry signal. So it's nice. I think it's still a bit plasticky. Might be one of those things that you're in the studio and you kind of say, well, how would that passage sound like if we recorded 2 harmonising guitars? Just every now and again you get those wee extra assets. Right, as it switches. So I think it's going to sound much better if you actually recorded that, like actually recorded that harmony. So theoretically, if we go down and then we go, so you can get a bass part while you're doing it. That's kind of an octave pedal, and it's an octave pedal that does a lot of different things. So if still don't like the sound. I always think I want an octave pedal. And then I kind of hear that synthy, switchy sound that it does. Now, if you put it to fully wet and not dry, then theoretically I can now play a bass. But it just sounds like an out of tune bass. So, even while it's on fully wet, you're getting these kind of strange artifacts. But you can kind of tune it in, so maybe you just want to, if you just put in kind of 10% of that wet signal. Just fatten your sound a little bit. So if you use it subtly, chords probably aren't a great idea. Oh, terrible idea. It's a confused computer. And that. Well, that would be the right key, theoretically. Just warbles a bit everywhere. So yeah, that's it on If we go up an octave. We're getting those assets. So as I'm always saying this, pedals you tune in with the pickups. So that will maybe work better on a different guitar and work worse on another. But there's a kind of sweet spot in the middle, which the computer seems to kind of work, the chip seems to work quite well with. But once you go a bit more off-piste, then it doesn't quite work as well. And then you've got an octave above that. Oh no, I was maybe playing 7th there or something. So that's a kind of clean version of what was going on with the pitch shifter. That should be an octave. And then we get a 6th, a 5th, a 4th and a 3rd. There's so many settings on these pedals it's quite difficult to know where you are. So that I can see the use of that, but I think there's other pedals do it better. So then you've got Detune. That basically plays something in unison with you that is out of tune, and that decides how out of tune it is. So theoretically you can play half a step down. Maybe not. So definitely on. Just more weird warbliness. Right, the two settings that are quite interesting are the T arm, which is tremolo arm. Now, this is one where you kick the pedal and then it goes wherever you ask it to go. In this case, I'm asking it to go high. That's really cool. I wish it didn't have those artifacts that it jumps about. Now, this is the only use that I can find for what they call the delay time dial. So that decides how quickly it moves up. That's obviously pretty instant, and then the other side of that is going to be a longer sweep. Wish the assets weren't there, but they're pretty cool. Loads of applications for that, especially live, and then obviously you can go lower. It sounds like somebody's turned off the record player. It's a one-track pony, but it's a really cool track and it's great fun. And then Flutter does a similar thing. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is. Also, it goes down and comes back up, I think. So it kind of makes those assets sound a bit more intentional. The tremolo arm kind of flickers back and forth. I'm saying assets, I think I mean artifacts. I'm not sure. It's that bit where you're getting extra bits of the sound and it's not quite doing what it's meant to be doing. Right, so this is flutter on the going up the way. It's cool. Synthetic, but cool. So basically, it's lots of things. So it can do a kind of double track guitar sound, which you can sort of do cleaner with a digital delay if you know what you're doing. It can harmonise, but I think I would just record the guitar twice or have two guitarists playing. It would be far cooler. You get these kind of detuned, warbly sounds, which you can get with an analog chorus. I think my theory is that this is about 6 pedals in one, and it doesn't excel at any of those things. Those things is a cheap way of getting a Digitech whammy, which is like what's his name? Tom Morello. I could do that all day. Now, because it's synthetic, that means that it's probably for guitarists doing twiddly metal and stuff like that. So, what I thought is we do it distorted. So I've got a big muff here, which is just absolutely glorious. Sorry, I shouldn't say that while I play big crashing guitar chords. This sounds glorious. Another thing I could do all day. One of the main reasons I do this series is to let me play around with pedals because I don't do it enough. So. Super cool noises. So yeah, a lot of fun, which is essentially what all pedals should be. But I don't really know that I'm going to reach for it a lot when it's kicking about. We'll see what the trumpet does. So, what key am I in? So it's mildly frustrating that you've got to remember what key you're in all the time. All in all, I feel like you really have to dial stuff in. It's like quite frustrating how pernickety everything is. But at the same time, if you don't like, and I say this all the time, like when you're like doing big boy mixing, you're not putting on effects, you're like, you dial in the reverb and once you can hear it, you turn it off again. Like that's just the right point where you want to affect the sound. So if you play with it and kind of make sure that it's mostly dry signal, then you can use it to fatten up a sound, like an octave. I've seen octaves that don't have the dry wet control, and that's totally useless. The other feature of it is that you can use an expression pedal. I'm doing this. It's worth it for that alone. That's a lot more fun than that, because that just detunes your guitar. Anyway, let's see what it does with the trumpet. Enjoy. So here we go. There's lots of moving parts here, but we have two microphones. Both are cheap versions of SM57s, but I'm sure they came from a drum mic thing. So dynamic microphones. One of them is going into a DI box and then coming back out and into the super shifter down here. And then into the computer. One's going straight into the computer. So if I start as I did with the other one, I'll go fairly wet in the signal in the first dial, and we're on the pitch shifter. I'm playing in C, which is D in the trumpet. Again with the blues scales. Okay, so if you don't play trumpet, you tune with your ear where you're playing, so you have to hear the note. Now I have got a detuned note in my ears, and it's basically the most messed up thing ever. So maybe I'll have to try it without it. So let's go high. That is quite cool. It's even cooler if it's my voice. There we go. It kind of sounds like there's a MIDI trumpet playing an octave higher than me. It's quite hard to stick to the key. Right, so harmonisers. I should go lower with the pitch shift first. I quite like this. I prefer this to the guitar, because I don't know why. It seems to be working better. I thought it would be dancing about all over the place. It might be correcting my tuning a little, which might be a problem. I'll try it on the harmonizer. I really like that. Now at a lower third. The harmonising I'm not too into. It doesn't feel like it's quite right. I can never find the right settings. I think when you give it the key as well, it also corrects it. The trumpet's never in tune, so it's correcting the harmony, so it sounds awful. The octave, however, up and down sound brilliant. Alright, who wants to hear Tremolo arm? Very cool. And down the way. And some sort of harmony. That's pretty cool. Don't know when you would use it, but it kind of floats into the harmony. Now flutter up and back down, I guess. High. It's really hard to listen to in tune, and I don't know how much I like it. I like the octave up and down, because it doesn't seem to tune around you. But it's a lot of fun. I think I need to try it with distortion.